What's up, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, and the overall market. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Anyways, as far as the market's going, right now things are looking pretty good as we're starting to see buyers returning. And there are some signals that suggest that the market may see an attempt to rebound going into next week. And this could help NIO try to push as well. But whether or not that happens depends on some factors. So I want to talk about what those factors are, then I'll break down the charts. Just know that as far as NIO is going, on January 3rd, which is today, NIO has opened their 3,000th NIO Power Swap station in China. It took just 5 days to go from 2,900 to about 3,000, and they're continuing to expand this, which is helping get their sales up. On top of this, we saw their sales come out. Their overall sales were quite good, looking at over 72,000 deliveries for Q4. And once again, a new record for them. So a very, very strong December helps the share price to some extent. On top of this, despite that, there's only been a sell rating that's come out recently, and we're going to wait and see what other analysts have to say. The price-price ratio is starting to curl a little bit upwards, which could lead to more upside potential. I also want to add that for other factors out there, we also see that there's a very interesting amount of volatility right over here. We tend to see more volatility on Mondays and Tuesdays. There tends to be more green, especially on Tuesdays. There's more volatility at 1 p.m. and also during the second to last hour of the day. And besides that, there's not anything else that's too crazy. I also want to mention that volume is at 35 million. It's a little bit below average, but overall, we're still getting bought up quite well. Besides that, going into next week, just know that for Monday, we have the S&P Global Composite PMI report coming out at 9:45 a.m. On Tuesday, we have the ISM services reports that are also coming out. On Wednesday, we have very, very minor data, but then we have the FOM Siemens later on, so that's going to be more significant. And Thursday, we just have a bunch of Fed speakers, but there's nothing too crazy coming out for Thursday. I think the market may be closed because of Jimmy Carter's funeral, unfortunately, so the market may be closed on Thursday, at least the American markets. And then for Friday, we have very, very important unemployment numbers coming out, and we'll see what that leads to. So quite a bit of data almost every single day of the week next week, starting off with very important manufacturing numbers all over again. Now, for earnings season is about to kick off. I think the week after this week that's coming up, the week after the week that's coming up, basically into mid-January, that's when earnings season really kicks off. For now, this is what we're going to be looking out for. Minor earnings just to start things off, but then they get very serious the week after this one. So wait for that. And then for the fear and greed index, the market was at extreme fear. Now fear is starting to slow here, and I think we could get slowly closer to neutral. Momentum was at extreme fear. Now it's getting to just fear as we're starting to see a big shift. The put to call option ratio, as soon as it started going up, as soon as more puts were being bought on the 5-day average, this could start to shift down now because we might start to see the market push. And the VIX got a rejection, which could suggest the market may see some upside. So what's my view for next week? It's very simple. Looking at NIO, we have a nice double bottom here. I think it looks quite good. This is forming a big W shape, and I'm hoping that we try to get a push for about 4.76 heading into next week. If that breaks, we're looking for a push closer to the 5s, so we'll just have to see what that leads to. If this breaks, there's going to be more upside, so give this the time it needs. For other factors out there, we have SPY. SPY looks quite decent. We're trying to push higher as well. We managed to close above 590, which is a very good sign. We're testing 592 as resistance. So it's looking good. Despite the fact that there was this head and shoulders, I think buyers will defend next week. And this has more room to run because of the fact that we're holding up quite well. I also mentioned the daily chart's looking decent now. We do have this gap to fill. So as long as SPY does not lose 591 next week, I'm looking for an attempt to get back up to about 594, eventually to fill this gap to 599. So there might be a potential bounce here. Could the head and shoulders now be looking like a trap? I can't confirm that yet, but I do think we are going to attempt to get to the higher 500s at the very least, if not close to 600. I think they may try to buy things up just to start things off. On ES, we're also trying to bounce on the daily. I think we might be testing 6,000 very soon or above. For Nvda, we have a nice inverse head and shoulders here, so this could be pushing us up to about 146, and eventually 150 if that breaks. Bitcoin's looking more bullish on the daily. This could be pushing for 100,000. So the buyers came back today, and we're starting to see a lot more of them. Tesla dumped quite a bit, and now it's starting to bounce to fill this daily gap. We have more gaps on the daily to fill. There's one at 430. There's another one up here at 453. So as long as Tesla holds above 410 going into the next couple of trading days, I think we could easily start pushing back up to about 425 plus. So I see some more upside potential, so give this the time it needs. For NQ, we look more bullish. We'll have to see if we could break past 21,600. If that breaks, we're looking for 21,700 as our next potential target. With the QQQ, we're going to be trying to push up here. We're looking for 522. If that breaks, we could be pushing up to about 528 or so. So I see some more upside potential. If we could break 519, we look more bullish. If we lose 515, we turn back down. But I think this is favoring upside for 520 plus. Aapl dipped quite a bit, but now we're forming a potential doji on the daily, which could be looking for a reversal right here. I think the whole market might try to get bought back up. So 244 could be a nice potential target. Looking at Palantir, this resembles a cup and handle. There's a gap to fill back up to 82, so there could be a nice bounce coming. On the Russell, we could be trying to visit our daily EMAs around the 15-20 EMAs around 226 to 227. As long as you don't lose 222, I favor upside a little bit more. For coin, we look more bullish. As long as we're above 270, we're looking for an attempt to get back up to 280. I think that this may also try to bounce now thanks to Bitcoin. Amazon's holding up quite nicely. We managed to get back above 223. There's a gap to fill up here, which I think Amazon's going to go for 227 next week. For Meta, we look more bullish. We're actually so on Meta. As long as we hold above 600, I could be looking for an attempt to get back up to 610. This is so for the time being, but there is potential as long as we're above our EMA. Microsoft is holding the daily 200 EMA, so there's a gap to fill up to about 430. As long as we hold above 417, excuse me, as long as we're above 417, we're favoring a move back up to gap resistance at 426, then the gap fill at 432. For Google, we're going to try to push higher to try to get back up to about 195 or above. As long as we don't lose 189, we're looking a lot more bullish. I think we're doing a good job so far. Besides that, I think that we're doing a fantastic job, and we'll have to give this the time it needs. We do look bullish on the daily on SPY, so I do favor upside a little bit more, and I think that the market is shifting for a small rebound for next week, at least to start things off. It could become a lot bigger depending on how things go, but look for an attempt to push. I also think that NIO might be pushing for about 4.74 if that breaks. We're looking for more upside, but I think NIO is going to be testing 4.74 to 4.8. If that breaks, we push to even higher levels. So let's hope that ends up being the case. With that being said, I see some upside potential. There's not anything too significant coming out. And ever since we got our deliveries, NIO has been trying to push. So I think that there is potential in this chart. I want to mention that when you look at the 4-hour time frame, if we could hold above 4.8, we have this gap to fill all the way up here around this the 5.17 area. So we could try to fill that gap up here. But let's see if NIO could break past 4.8 first and eventually $5 to get it back up there. Otherwise, we're doing a good job. With that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. I'll be back very, very soon in just maybe about 2 days to give you guys another update. I will most likely not post a video on this channel tomorrow. I'm going to be taking a small break, but I'll be back on a Sunday, maybe Sunday in the afternoon. I'll be back and I'll give you guys more updates on how things are looking. Anyways, I want to thank you all so much for listening. So please have a good rest of your day. I'll see you guys very, very, very soon on the next one. Thank you for listening and peace out.